Hello everyone, welcome to this new Alexa EU Developers Office Hours, which is a session that we usually do every 2 weeks for the EU at 4 p.m. UK time. Before we start, just if you can give me some feedback on the audio. From my side, everything should work fine. Let's wait a few minutes for people to connect. Welcome. We are streaming simultaneously on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So yeah, welcome everyone. So for who never joined the session before, this is a session in which we have it's an open, we are open to answer your questions if you want to share some ideas. We are starting this session in the EU, but we will be maybe changing the time. There are some thinking around it. Currently it's been done at 4 p.m. UK time, but yeah, maybe we might change it into the morning one. I see that we have a few joiners already on Twitch and YouTube as well, and I've received good feedback about the audio. So thank you, hello, welcome Gold Zulu, Oak 2000, Trade Last, thank you, and welcome to the stream. Some viewers on YouTube as well. We have a comment, hello, sounds good, thank you, Don Adriatico, welcome. So as I was saying, this is a session in which we, let's say, we can ask or answer your questions that you might have for us. We are also open to share some ideas. If there is something you want to share with the community, I'll be happy to amplify it. As you can see from the background here, I have the Alexa Live event, which is in just 2 weeks. So if you haven't registered, please do, because it will be packed of new features that, of course, we will be also preparing some sessions for. All right, that's pretty much the gist. So I did introduce myself. I see a few new joiners here. I'm Gaetano Ursomanno, and I'm part of the Alexa Developer Advocacy Group, so which is basically the team behind Contact Us and the forum. So if you ever contacted the Alexa Developer Advocacy Group, you must have done it through the Contact Us page and the Alexa Developer Forum. These are the two main channels I'm referring to, but we also have the Alexa Slack channel. So I've been seeing a lot of interaction recently on that particular channel, and you can reach it at alexa.design/Slack. So very easy, canonical Alexa.design link. Yeah, don't be shy to ask any question in the chat, even on the Slack channel, but even here on the chat, because there are no let's say stupid questions. So if you think that you're going to ask a very basic question, please do not hesitate, because I've been seeing that we are building a very helpful and healthy community around the Slack channel. Let me see. There is a question on Twitch saying, looks like the forum is changing soon. Any comments on that? All right, so we cannot comment on future plans, but what I can say is that we are planning to refresh it. So the forum will have quite substantial refresh in terms of usability and a bit of UI as well. But I have we don't have any timeline as of yet. So just stay tuned, alexa.design/forum to reach it. the Alexa.design link would still work, so no issues, no worries about that. Trade less, is there anything specific that you've seen? I want to take the opportunity of asking you if you have been seeing any issues that you want me to look into. Otherwise, if everything works on the forum, good. But yeah, just wondering if you found any issues. Either that's a general question for everyone, either on the contact us side or the developer forum. Just let me know. There is a comment on YouTube, which I guess is in Arabic. I don't know what it means, but hello. Hi, Zaid Al-Attar. Welcome to the stream. Nice. Okay, so speaking of the Alexa Slack channel, I've been helping a developer on a specific question this week. It was about how to avoid that Alexa will say twice the speech if I have an APL layout that runs a speak item at runtime, but I also have the Alexa the Alexa the canonical output speech. So this is a question that I've asked on the Slack channel as well, but for who is interested. So one way of doing so is to basically separate your responses. So what I mean by that is that you might look at the Alexa JSON request for that you receive in the code, and then you can check if the device supports APL or not. If it doesn't, then you just send the alexa.speak, so the .speak command. But if the device does support APL, then you just send the speak item command. I can do a quick demo about it. We can just create a new skill and try to implement this. Okay, let's create a new one. As you can see, I have a bunch of test skills. So let's put English US and say APL double speech. Let's make it a custom one. Yeah, nothing much to change it. So let's move it to EU Ireland, which is the closest region, and yeah, let's create the skill. Meanwhile, if there is anything you want to share, some things you are working on and you are stuck on, I'll be happy to help. So we start from scratch. We don't really need a different template here. So I'll continue with the template. Yeah, let's give it a few minutes. Okay, while it loads, I can see that there is a question on YouTube from Don Adriatico. If I have a skill that I've submitted for an update that adds 2 languages, if only one of them has an issue, will the locale that has no issues go live? That's a good question. So I guess when you say I've added 2 languages, you mean that you've added additional languages into your interaction model. So pretty much here. If so, I think that if the skill has issues and in general with the language that you add, it will just be rejected. But for that, I would suggest you. So I think that Jeff Blackenberg, which is the evangelist for the US, he just created a new category in the Slack channel that is certification. No, it's not available here, but yeah. So I'll suggest you to write to the Alexa Slack channel, because certification is not my main point of focus. I'll just give you a background around that. So the Alexa DAG, which is the team I'm part of, the developer advocacy group, is basically handling both. There are two sides of the team. One is the tech side, which I'm part of. So it is focusing on the technical side of things, so implementations, coding, and help on some of the APIs. But that looks like a business question. So what I suggest you is to write into the Slack channel or open a contact us page to at this address. So alexa.design, contact us. Since it's something related to your account, I suggest you to write to us and share the skill ID, so that our team representative can check very in a timely manner. So if that's what you mean. On the other hand, if the language, so if when you say I added 2 languages, you mean that you did some changes in the code that are not, let's say, covered by the certification team. What I mean by that is that you can do changes to your endpoint that don't, but that will not, let's say, impact the certification, because you do not need to submit. However, if your skill might be breaking after your changes, then there is another team, which is the live skill monitoring team, that would let you know if the skill is failing or acting weird for some users. So what I'm trying to say is that even if you change your something in your code, there is no need to resubmit, but be aware that if you introduce some breaking changes, you might be notified soon. So yeah, please go on and write a contact us case. You can refer that you asked this question into the into the live stream, so we can we can understand that it was you. Thank you. Meanwhile, there are no additional questions on Twitch, so let's move on. We have a few viewers at this time. I was wondering, what do you think is the best time for you to join the office hours? I'm referring to, so my target of this question is the EU developers. So we are planning to do this, we were thinking to do this at 9 a.m. BST. So as soon as the UK mostly day starts. So 9 a.m. UK time, 10 a.m. Central Europe. Let me know how would that work for you, because we are in the middle of redefining all the timelines of the office hours. So Don Adriatico, yeah, I can see that you have acknowledged my suggestion. I'm happy for that. So thank you. Let me have a quick check on Twitch as well. I'm apologizing in advance for my voice, because I'm in a pretty empty room at this time, which is temporary. So if you hear some echo, apologize for that. And with that, I've triggered my device. So let me mute this. Okay, 1 second. Let's see if there is something on Twitch. And also part of my, not very strong voice today is because I went to see the European Cup yesterday at the stadium. So I've been pretty vocal as an Italy fan. So I hope you don't mind. All right. So no questions on Slack. Let me get back to this. So as I was saying. I was answering a question, a very interesting question, yesterday, I think. Yes, this week on the Slack channel about the scenario was I have an APL document that for which I'm doing a scroll, and then I have an APL document that is doing an automatic scroll as soon as I load it, and while the scroll is going on, there is a speech that I like to do while scrolling. That's pretty easy, quote unquote, to do with the speak item command. But the issue was that the speak item command doesn't really work with the non-screen enabled device. So one solution would have been to use APL for audio, but the developer already had everything set up for the speak item. So what I suggested was to separate the two responses and send the output speech, the usual output speech from the SDK, just if the skill doesn't have any, doesn't support APL, hence it's been used from a device that doesn't have the screen. So we are going to implement it today. So yeah, and if you are seeing this as a recording, because all the streams will be recorded on the YouTube channel. So if you go on the Alexa Developers YouTube channel, you will see all the streams. So if you're watching this as a recording, we just continue looking because we are going to build something. All right, so that's my Alexa host skill. Let's open the code tab to see how it looks. It should be pretty straightforward. The usual code that comes with the Alexa host skill. There is launch request handler and a hello world intent handler. Nothing very. It's not rocket science, let's say. So there are just two intents, intent handler, because the Alexa host skill should have just the hello world intent. So first thing first, we're going to use APL in this skill. So what you need to do is go on the interfaces and enable Alexa presentation language. So there is a interesting fact here. If you do not enable this, even if you render this skill, if you open the skill from display enabled device, the launch request will not state that the device supports APL because the interface is disabled. So that has been, speaking from my experience here, I was trying to do a similar thing with APL on a brand new skill, but I forgot to enable this, and then the function that I was using to retrieve whether or not the device has a screen was returning false every time, even though I was launching it from an Echo Show 5. And that was because I forgot to enable this. So yeah, I would suggest you to do it as a first thing. So let's save the interfaces and build the model. While it builds, I'll check if there is some question. Nothing so far. All right, quick build. All right, the model is training. Yeah, let's have a look at the code first while it loads. All right, so this is the usual, okay, build successful. So this is usual code for the Alexa host skills, right? So we have the launch request and the hello world intent handler. What we want to do is implement a function that would retrieve whether or not the device supports APL. So we can do it. Okay, so what I usually use is this general function that is called supports interface, that basically gets as an input the interface you want the function to look into the JSON request for you, and it retrieves true or false if it supports or not. So an addition that I add to this is another function called supports APL, which is basically calls this one and checks for alexa.presentation.apl. That's pretty much it. So let me deploy this code first. Okay, I was checking the Slack channel on the general, and there is a question from a developer, the same developer who asked this is asking if we can provide a reprompt message with an APL screen. The answer is that it's possible, so you can definitely do it, but you need to do some you need to declare some send event handler, because what you need to do is basically if you want to perform some actions with APL and then you want a reprompt, you should do a send event at the end of the commands chain. This send event will trigger your Lambda, and then based on the parameters the parameters array that you send through the send event, you can in your code say, okay, I'm receiving this, so I'm receiving this reprompt from the send event, and then what you need to do is basically send back a response with a reprompt. So I will just notify this developer that we are answering this question live. We can do it. Give me just 1 second. Meanwhile, we have we have new joiners. Hello, Napster Naps, and Fabio William Oliveira. Hello, hi everyone. So okay, I sent the link, so I hope that this developer joins the session. All right. Okay, so I was saying, let's declare these two interfaces, supports interface and support APL specifically. Then what we need to do is on the launch request, create two separate handlers, well, two separate blocks of code. So I'd say if then supports APL. What we need to pass in input is handler input, so basically this. Then what I would do is I will return something like not the speak, but I would do add directive. And then let's add the render document directive. I have some snippets, so here, Alexa.render document directive. Now, the document in data sources part are empty. Let's create a brand new APL document on the fly, just someone that says hello world, which is this tab. Yeah, blank document. We don't need to create something complex, so I'll just send the text. And I set it to hello live stream. Maybe we want to center it. Yes. All right. So we just copy the entire document we just created, which is not very fancy, but I mean, it's an APL doc that we're going to use into our code. So we do this. I'm basically pasting the content of the APL document that we just created into the document section of the render document directive. And then with this, we don't need a reprompt because we want to add it to, we just want to render this, while if the device does not support APL, so else, we just return something very, so we can do return handler input dot response builder dot speak, and we say this is your speech for non-screen devices. So this answers the first question. We can easily see if it works. I have two devices here. Okay, meanwhile, while it was deploying, I was checking the YouTube comments, and there are a few questions, so we can maybe resume this later. Okay, so the first question is, will Alexa host skill still function after they've gone over the monthly usage limit? So if you thanks for the question, but if you refer to the limit of, like, in terms of the amount of Alexa hosted skill that you can create for your account, then the answer is that once you reach the 75th, I think, yeah, once you've got 75 Alexa hosted skill, when you try to create another one, you will just see a pop-up saying, well, you've reached the limit. While if you refer to the free limit of lambda function, lambda function or S3 or all the resources that are allocated for you in Alexa hosted skills, like those ones, then I need to double check and let you know. So please, if you can elaborate a bit more on which kind of monthly usage limit are you referring to. Otherwise, I can just try to search them, and then we can discuss it together. Alexa hosted skills usage limit. That's it. Usage limits. Okay. Okay, as I was mentioning before, your developer account can have up to 75 Alexa hosted skills, and then, yeah, if you reach this number, then you cannot create an Alexa hosted skill anymore, and you need to basically either delete one or yeah, make sure that you do not exceed this. For Lambda, as mentioned, this says 1 million free Lambda requests and 3.2 million cycles of compute. The monthly usage will appear on the hosting page. You can also see your AWS page from the code tab by clicking on usage icon on the toolbar. Okay. All right. So if you exceed this limit, you have 30 days to bring usage under the limit or move to a personal AWS account. I think that answers also your question. So if you go over the limits, your skill might be removed from your Alexa skill store. If your skill is flagged for abusing resources, your skill might be removed from the store before 30 days. So I would suggest to, well, first I wish and I hope that you will exceed the limits. That means that you will have a lot of users and your skill is very successful. But if you remain under the usage limit, you can just do that. So yeah, I would suggest start with in an Alexa hosted skill, and if you see that you are exceeding the limits, you have no choice of you need to move to a personal backend, or you can use AWS. If you use AWS, if you want to move from an Alexa hosted skill to AWS, it's just a matter of changing the endpoint. So you have the ARN or your Lambda function. You go on the endpoint, and then you change this. be aware that if you change the endpoint of an Alexa hosted skill, you will, of course, will no longer able to open the code tab. Well, you can open it, but it would say this Alexa hosted skill is, backed by another endpoint, and it's no longer hosted by Alexa. That's pretty much what will happen. Alright, so, there are other questions. Thanks for confirming, Don Adriatico, that you were referring to the AWS requests. Yeah, the skill still works, and you have a 30 days, let's say, grace period to make sure that the usage goes back to normal. Alright, there is a question for Napster Nap from Napster Naps. I've got one question. How could we deal with one intent with multiple slots? So let me mentalize a bit. So one intent with multiple slots. Okay, multiple slots, to be able to introduce those slots either from voice or touch through APL. Okay, let me see if I understood the question. First, when you say one intent with multiple slots, I guess you are referring to one utterance, because an utterance can have multiple slots. Or you might be referring to the general number and name of the slots that are part of an intent. That said, in general, I don't think you can retrieve, I don't think there is an API that lets you retrieve the slot, so the slot values, right? The slots either from voice or touch through API. So let me just clarify that. Do you want to add some slots to your interaction model by voice or by touch? Or do you want to make sure that, or you want to make your user aware of the possible slots value that he or she can say? That would let me understand the question better. But in general, what I can say is that you cannot retrieve the slot types, like the amount of slots from your code, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, let me do a quick search with you. So retrieve slot names from Alexa Lambda, which I guess is what you want to do, but please let me know. Okay, so apparently there is something in the JSON request that says intent slot name value, and then you get the value. But you want to that's the value that the user would have filled for that particular interaction. You don't get you don't get the list of the possible values that this slot can have, I'm afraid. But let me know if that's what you want, otherwise I can follow up on that. Great, so let's go to the question. How can I improve cancel request and clean the APL and return to device? So Fabio William Oliveira, I guess you want to clean everything that is on the screen when you reach the clean or cancel intent. Is that it? If so, that's pretty easy. I mean, let's say that this is your code and you have a cancel, so cancel a stop intent handler. When you reach this intent, you basically just need to render a document basically render the same document without data sources, or just add some dummy data so that we will get clear. Although you might experience some refreshing, but that would do the trick. Let me know if is that what you want. Another question from is how to add multiple language support such English US, English UK to the same skill. Okay, this is to be done through the developer console on the build tab. So here you have, I selected by default, I'm not sure what time you joined the session, but I was creating an English US skill that was separating the responses whether or not the device has a screen. But if you want to add a new language, you just go here, press on English US and then language settings. Now, since you're adding the same language just in a different locale, you can press the clone button here and then select the other English locales that you want to add. Alternatively, if you don't want to do this, you can just press add the new language and then select what you want to add. The clone works for English, Spanish and French. I mean, every language that has more than one locale, let's say. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Remember to, when you add the new one, yeah, I can add the English UK as an example. Then remember that when you add the new locale, you need to save the model and build it. So if you go back to here, let's go back to the interaction model. So you have English US here, but then if you add English UK, as you can see now there are multiple ones. What you need to do is go on the invocation and then add it. But since it's the same skill, sorry, it's the same language, the best course of action would be go on the what is that? JSON editor. It's basically a JSON representation of the whole interaction model, and then you copy it. Actually, there is a typo in the invocation name. We cannot have, so if there is an acronym, that's another trick. I mean, something you should aware of. I will not be able to launch this skill because APL it's an acronym. So I need to write it like this. So I need to add a dot after every letter. So I'll take this opportunity to do it right now. So I was saying, since it's English, you just copy all of this and then go to the interaction model for English UK and paste it inside. Of course, I'm doing this because it's the same language. If you would do this when adding Spanish, would not make much sense because those sample utterances are in English. So it would be very tricky for Alexa to understand what you're saying. Then again, build the model for English UK, and then from there the skill should work on English UK as well. And this is it, Kandar. I hope that answers your question. Well, there's also you can do this through the CLI as well, although it's a bit more advanced. But let me quickly refer it with you. So ask CLI add locale. So the locale in let's say Alexa skill project is under the language models folder, and yeah, it's just a matter of adding the other JSON, so the JSON representation of the interaction model for English UK, and then once you deploy the skill with the entire Ask CLI will understand that there is a new locale, and then the effect will be that you will have another thing here. But yeah, if you are using English, so I would suggest you to use the clone feature, which sounds very handy. Okay, another question from Thinker. I might have missed it, but can you explain how to use reprompt with APL screen? Okay, we were doing that. So we were basically adding the so creating the scenario for which we have a different response that that will basically render this if the device has a screen, or just say this if the device doesn't have a screen. So I set this up already. So what I would do is try the most straightforward way to add the reprompt and see what happens. So let's say here I add dot reprompt. So I put an empty speak and then a reprompt. This is a reprompt. And let's see what happened. Did I deploy, sorry, did I, let me see if I changed it. So I fixed the APL double speech invocation name. Let's see if but I don't remember if I built the model for English US, maybe just English UK. Well, let's do it anyways. So here I have, next to me I have one echo chef 5 and then an echo dot with clock. So one, of course, one supports the screen, the other one doesn't. So we can see how is the behavior on both of them. I guess I can point my camera to them. So first let's see if the skill works after all of this. I'll just test it into the developer console. Okay, the developer console takes a bit of space, so I'll just hide my camera for a bit. I guess you can still hear me. Okay. Okay, so I'll just, let's see if everything works. I still need, well, I need to go to the test tab, not just for testing it, but also to enable the skill because it's a brand new one. So I'll do development. And if I say, yeah, I don't need the mic. If I say open APL double speech, is that the invocation name, right?
Sorry, I had trouble doing what you asked. Please try again.
Okay, there is a problem. Let's see. Let's check the logs. Okay, that's a very generic error. Maybe we messed up something. So okay, a directive does speak. Okay, speak is empty. Okay, that's something to see. Okay, I see why. So I put the reprompt after the get response. So basically, the entire response is messed up. Okay, let's try again. So by the way, thinker, if this approach that we're going to do doesn't work, because you're using the speak item, if I remember well, you could basically add a send event at the bottom of your commands array that would send something to the backend to say reprompt. Then in the code, you might have a send event handler that reads the parameter of the send event and then just send an empty response back with the reprompt. So that's what I would do if this particular thing doesn't work. So let's see. So I don't need this. A directive reprompt. Okay, that's not the problem. I had the speak inside here. Okay, I don't need to see how the directive works. I need just a directive, speak, and the reprompt. Yeah, it's very hard to follow the code when there are multiple JSON objects here and there. So sometimes I need to collapse them to understand what's going on. Great, let's wait for it to load. All right, that's done. Let's try to launch the skill again. Okay, let's stop it just to make sure.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Sorry, I don't know about that. Please try again.
It looks like my skill hasn't been opened.
Sorry, I don't know about that. Please try again.
Okay, let's see what is this. There is a skill ID launched. As I said, I have a lot of skills in my Alexa Hosted Skills account. I mean, I didn't reach the limit yet, but I need to see if I'm launching the correct one. Yes, API double speech. Okay, let's change the invocation name to something easily. So let's call it super stream. Maybe it's easier. Building in progress. The interface is enabled, right? Yes. Let's close a bunch of tabs. Okay. Test again. Thank you. The build is done. We don't need this. English US. Okay. Open super stream.
I found a few skills that might help. Did you mean super burp?
Stop. Okay. There's clearly an invocation name issue. But luckily I already done this into an hosted skill that I already have. So we can check the code of this one while I try to understand what's going on in my freshly created skill. Because for the sake of this demo, I just want to have it done. So it's the same code as before. I have a launch request that if supports APL, then there is this. If it doesn't, then just say device does not support display. Now on the developer portal, sorry, on the test console, there is no way to simulate that a device doesn't have a display. But I test this and it works. So what the developer was asking, what Thinker was asking here is how to add a reprompt to APL. Sorry, after an APL doc. So let's move on and try to launch this very quickly, because we are getting close to the end. I don't remember the invocation name. Okay. So, and I cannot even test the reprompt into the developer console because it's not supported. So I might use my device. Okay, it's just hosted skill. Say open hosted skill. Okay, it just says hello world because, as I said, the code detected that the device does indeed support display. So it is mentioning this one. So what I would do, I just add reprompt and then deploy. Well, deploy. Let's make it say something. This is a reprompt. This should work because I tried it before, but if it doesn't, I have another approach that you could use that I can quickly explain. Right, so adding a prompt should leave the session open. So let me try it on a device. Echo, open hosted skill. Okay, so it did say hello world. Well, it did show hello world and then show the reprompt. I mean the blue light. I think I can show it quickly. Show it here on the cam. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm not sure how big you can see, but I'd say echo, open hosted skill.
I can't find that skill. To find
Echo, open hosted skill. Okay, there is the hello world here, but
Sorry,
also
I don't know that one.
but also the reprompt. Echo, go home. So this is an approach that should work for you as well. But if it doesn't, because maybe you are the speak item is conflicting with this, then you can do this thing here. So I guess that since you're doing speak item, you have another directive in your response, which is execute command, I think. Because you said you are executing a speak item, so let's do this. Okay, so this is the execute command directive that we will plug into this. Right, so your commands, you said that you have speak item, so I'll clean this array up because we want to add just our command, and we are going to do a dummy speak item. So I have some snippets that I'm pasting. So right, so you are sending a speak item from your code or from your I don't know backend. Then you can add another one at the end of this if you don't want to use the reprompt at the end. Then it's called send event. So let me take a snippet. This command will basically trigger your lambda. We just need type and the arguments. Okay, one, this. So you say, oops, another command here. We don't need those. And the argument would be reprompt. Now, what does it mean? When you launch the skill, the APL render will do all the speak item or all the commands that you need to do, and then you add something at the end, so that at the end of the execution of those, your backend will be triggered with this keyword, and then you will need to declare another handler that is called send event handler, for which I have a snippet from my APL playground tool. I can easily retrieve it for you. Nope. Okay, APL playground. lambda index.js send event. Okay, so what this code is doing, I can copy it. This handler would be responsible for a few things. Well, don't forget to declare it here. This will okay, we don't need this because that's related to my code. So this code basically intercepts the alexa.apl.user event that will be sent here. And then what you will do is you can check if the argument is reprompt. So if action equals reprompt, then what you do is return handler input dot response builder dot reprompt. That's it. Basically, you will go from here to, after all your actions like speak item, you will go from here to the send event handler, and then if the argument is reprompt, as I put here, then you return just the reprompt, so that all your APL actions will be executed, and then your backend will be called again so that you can send the reprompt. Because if you send it at the beginning, as I just did in the demo, it might happen that it will conflict with the speak item. So maybe the reprompt might cover the speak item and the other swipes that you were doing. Because as far as I remember, you were building this for a scroll view or something like that. You were scrolling something. That's pretty much it. Feel free to follow up. We went a bit over for this session, and I see there are no further questions on YouTube or Slack. So thank you, and see you in the next one. Bye.